Hi, welcome back. This is our final episode of our happiness series. We started out by identifying what happiness might mean for you. And then we took a look at some ways that you can elevate your happiness levels with intention. And we also looked at how sadness isn't such a bad thing. Today, we're going to explore how your happiness changes over the course of your life, but you might not recognize it. I have this coaching client. I've been working with her for a few months now, and she's a CFO of a pretty big company. Well, we're talking the other day. And in a moment of vulnerability, she says to me, Jason, I don't know what it is. I'm just not happy with my job anymore. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, I don't know what it is. She goes, 20 years ago, all I wanted to do was be CFO. She goes, hey, all I ever wanted to be was a CFO. 10 years ago, I became a CFO. The company's been doing great. Here I am, and I'm not happy. Something's missing. And I said, well, what, do you want to be CEO? She said, no, of course not. I said, so what is it? She couldn't figure it out. So we talked for a while. And in our next coaching session, I'd given it some thought, and I said, let me ask you something. What did you study at university? She said, well, math. I said, really? Math? Why? And she said, well, I was good at it. I had a proclivity for math. I loved the idea of solving these problems. It just came easy to me. I said, well, when did you decide that? She said, I don't know. When I was like 15 or 16, that's when I decided that's where I wanted to study. I said, so you look for colleges and universities that had the best math departments? She said, yeah. I said, all right. And what'd you do for grad school? She said, well, I got my MBA. And I focused on finance because, the math. And I said, of course. And since then, she says, well, I've basically been on that road ever since. I said, now here you are, CFO, congratulations. She said, yeah, but something's missing. I said, okay, well, let me ask you a question. Do you wear the same clothes you wore when you were 16 years old? She said, no. I said, do you style your hair the same way you did when you were 16? She said, no. I said, would you drive the same car you drove? The same brand, same model? She said, no. Oh, what about your partner? Do you have the same partner you have now that you had when you were 16? She said, no. I said, all right. Well, you made a life choice at 16 years old about what you wanted to do for the rest of your life. You basically defined success at 16 years old, and you spent the last 40 some odd years trying to pursue that success. She said, get it. I said, yeah, but you're not doing any of the other things you did when you were 16. You're not driving that car. You're not wearing those clothes. You're not with that guy. You don't wear your hair the same way. You're a different person than we were when you were 16. That might be why you're not happy. Because the goal you set at 16 for your ideal happiness, that's not who you are anymore. She was silent. After a while, we got into that and talked about some more things. But the point I'm getting at is how many of you out there are following the career path that you chose for yourself when you were a child, when you were a teenager? In my other line of work, I work with a lot of entertainers. I work with a lot of actors, directors, comedians, and a lot of actors who have found a lot of success aren't that happy. And one of the reasons is because they chose to be an actor when they were so young, and they're afraid that if they choose a different career path, if they move into something else that interests them, they'll be seen as a failure. They gave up. They couldn't cut it. The business got the best of them. How many of you feel that way? The point is that you change over time. This is why a lot of relationships don't work. After 10 years, the person you fell in love with 10 years ago, they're a different person now. You're a different person now. And so if you haven't grown together, you might not like that person anymore. You still love them, but they're not the person from 10 years ago. So why should the things that make you happy and the things that bring you joy be the same as they were when you were young? So here's my recommendation. You have to reevaluate what it is that truly brings you joy today. And you've got to look back on your successes your trophies, your awards, your plaques from years ago and see them as what they were, a moment in time. A moment. And that moment was great, but it doesn't define you. And it doesn't make you who you are. You make you who you are. So whether it's the job you're in or the relationship you're in, if it's not currently making you happy, it's probably because you are not inculcating the things that you truly enjoy into your current relationships or your current job. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just up and leave, but what's the worst that could happen if you made some changes? You know, those of you who know me know that I work with a lot of veterans. And if you ask a veteran, hey, when you were on duty, what was the worst that could happen? They would tell you, I could die. That was the worst that could happen. Death. As my good friend Jeff Raz says, a tightrope walker, someone who walks the high wire, they get one bad day. One. And then that's it. Splat. You're probably not in that position. So the key to finding your happiness is to look inward at what it is you truly love to do. What's your passion? What's your calling in life? And if you don't know, talk to somebody. Talk it out. And don't feel the need to figure it out like that. Who you were then is not who you are now. And who you will be is certainly not who you are now. But it's that journey, that path that you take, and you can change direction anytime you want. That's the beauty of it. And it's not failure. It's changing your mind. I tried that. Wasn't for me. Maybe you tried something 10 years ago, you tried again now, and you love it. So as you move forward, trying to be a happier person, trying to make your teams happier, everybody, remember, it's an evolution. It's not one and done. It's not, oh, let me make this change and I'm good forever. It's constantly reevaluating and making sure that what you're doing is what you want to do. That's my recommendation. If you found this series helpful, please let me know. We're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to this. But elevating your happiness levels can bring you deeper success personally, professionally, and elevating the happiness of your teams at work, your family, empowering them to elevate their happiness, well, that leads to increased productivity, higher profits, reduced attrition rates, and it attracts top talent to you and your team. Because who doesn't want to be happy? It's not rocket science, but it's also not easy. It takes focus, it takes concentration. So if you're interested in learning more about this, or if you're interested in how you can bring this to your team, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you, and I'd love to find ways to increase the happiness of you and your team. As always, please subscribe to my newsletter to find out more, and enjoy the weekend. Next week, we'll be talking about... Now that's a cliffhanger. You'll have to tune in on Monday to find out. All right, have a great weekend, and for those of you watching this for the first time, have a great whatever day it is. Bye.